Well, hello, 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 hello. It is I, the Oracle of Whimsy, and it is our Thursday Hot Topics show. Welcome. As you can see, I have located Flopsy. Flopsy was kidnapped by Mila and hid. I won't tell you where, but let's just say it took a little bit of effort. Okay, she took it into the closet with my clothing. Not cool, not cool. Flopsy is back with us where they belong. Anyway, good to see everybody. If you have not started to pop your corks just yet, I invite you to join us and have those drinks. It is the Thursday show. And so, for that reason, we understand if alcohol is involved. I'm going to have a glass of water. Cheers, cheers to you all. L'chaim. All right. Excuse me. Without further ado, do be sure and tell me who you are. Where are you coming from? What are you eating? What are you drinking? How's the weather? Are you experiencing any of the smoke? Hello, Oshun Star. How are you today? Hi, Dana. Hi, Marvel Johnson. Good to see you. Hi, Dana Hutchinson. Maja Baker's in the house. Oh, Colorado Springs. How is Texas? I heard you guys had terrible weather. All the Southwest. Really, this is the hottest on record. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Hottest on record. Mm-hmm. And they say that the core is melting. Oh, you can feel the heat in New Mexico. Interesting. Mm. It's not, 113 in Nevada. Whoa, whoa, whoa. New Mexico, yeah. 105 in Texas. Excuse me. It's about 88, 90 in Portland. A really great, we've really had a really mild summer, and my tomatoes look great. I don't want my tomatoes to die. Please, the next week it's going to be 90 or less, which is perfect for tornado for tomatoes. Saw the tornadoes. So I'm pinching my fingers that because right now I have a ton of flowers and tornado hit North Carolina. Oh my God, 95 miles per hour. That is crazy. All right. Well, has everybody had a chance to pick up the book? Y'all know we have a book club now. Woohoo! We do. So, our book of the month, if you haven't had a chance to check it out, is Stay Sober and Save the World, The Cave Woman Way by Ellen Archer. Hopefully, we will be able to reach Ellen Archer. We'd love to have her come and speak with us for the 6 o'clock show. Taco Tuesdays uh, is at 5 o'clock, excuse me, and at 6 o'clock, our book club meets. So hopefully you'll be able to join us for that. All right. So let's talk hot topics. You guys want to talk about what's the latest in the news right now? A lot of crazy stuff going on in addition to the crazy weather. Wow, sounds like Michigan's having some great weather. Hi, Sue Malik. Good to see you. Something, something has set me off. I was fine all day today. Um, Very cool. Oh, Palm Springs. Yeah, 116. Oh, you just spoke to some people that had really great cartography over Palm Springs, but I don't think I could handle that heat. Live chat is not posting? Oh, MTG and Biden. What about them? The meeting with Biden? What? Marjorie Taylor Greene and Biden? Well, I don't understand. Uh, MTG can also mean meeting. Oh, there's a live chat, but there's a delay, evidently. I guess because we're streaming. All right, so the first thing I wanted to talk to people about with the remote views, unless you all want to keep talking about the hot topics that are going on. I don't know if you guys know that things are heating up in terms of what's going on in Ukraine right now. We've talked a little bit about this. We might as well go into the remote views since I'm. Well, what happened with, hold on, we'll take a look at this. So having a little trouble with the chat. Oh, I'm sorry. She made comments that were flattering, and Biden used it as an ad. Oh, interesting. Oh, Marjorie Taylor. Oh, yes, I remember that. She said the reason basically that people were voting for him is because he had done all these amazing things. And that's right. I mean, it's like the student loan debt. I didn't think I had borrowed $360,000, but if everybody's the victim of fraud, you just accept the fact that you're a victim of fraud, and this president was not going to sit back and let students be defrauded and charged. I think a lot of people don't understand the contract that students signed. The contract we signed with the federal government was that we would, to the best of our ability, pay what we could over a 20-year period, and that they, the government, would forgive the debts if we showed good faith. So I don't think people even understand the contract, because the government, the federal government, calculated the taxes that they would be getting from a professional versus an uneducated person. And so by getting people into professional jobs, they were able to recoup. And they look at everything from taxes, incomes, et cetera, when they look at particular colleges, the types of degrees people get, et cetera. Yeah, so if somebody defrauds you and won't let you get out of the 20-year contract, which is what happened to me. I took out loans in 2004, 2005, 2006, 7, 8, and signed those contracts. So that was how many years ago, right? But when Sally Mae and Navient took those contracts, they kept switching it out and adding years so you would forever be bound so that they could continue to collect a fee. And so I guess they defrauded a lot of people. And so a lot of Americans were paying. It was the government broke the contract. It's not that the students broke the contract. And so what happened was just kind of a correction of that. All right. So in terms of the remotes are kind of quick. It's regarding what's going on in Ukraine. We can talk a little bit about this if you like. And it has to do with the port of Odesa. Remember in previous remotes, we had communicated that every time I went into the remotes on Putin, he talked a lot about trade ad nauseum. And that he's very upset about the fact that they lost income from the ports. It's an unbelievably profitable thing, that port in Odessa, and they feel that they own it. They built it. I believe it was built by Catherine the Great originally. So there's this feeling that they have a right to the profits, just like they feel that they have the right to the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant because they built it, right? So now we are where we had spoken about 4 years ago. If you go back to the remotes, him saying specifically, calling out the port in Odessa, calling out the Black Sea specifically in the remotes, and saying that he wanted control of the Black Sea. He wanted control over trade in the Caspian. So I think we have to ask ourselves at this time, as intelligent people who have the ability to put our emotions aside. You don't have to be a professional empath to do that, and look at the situation objectively and say, if we all had this information 4 or 5 years ago, then why did any of this have to happen? Why did the port have to be bombed? Why do we have to be in this current situation where he's threatening now to bomb? He's threatening to bomb boats leaving out of the Black Sea. So that's frustrating. And it's also frustrating for remote viewers or anybody who stepped back and saw this situation and saw where it was headed, right? Because so much of this could have been prevented if we had cooled our heads, which is what heart-centered remote viewing teaches us. It teaches us to step back and look at situations objectively so that what's currently happening with Odessa and the Black Sea didn't have to happen in the first place. It happened. He told us 4 or 5 years ago he was going to do this. So I don't think that we should be shocked when he does it. Do you see what I'm saying? So just as Joel Tilson says, Putin is super upset by Turkey's sanctions, so he is blocking trade in the Black Sea. NATO's getting involved. I also want to point out that Putin is increasingly isolated. Turkey has now voted to bring in Finland and Sweden to NATO. Iran wants that grain because we're talking about people starving in Egypt, people starving in Syria, Iran, etc. if they can't get the grain, very heavily dependent on the wheat. And so he's also engaging in activities right now that are making him increasingly isolated from the very countries that once saw him as an ally. He was warming up to future trade with Modi out of India. That's falling apart. China basically China wants to make money, right, on the rebuild. So it doesn't look very good for him. The other thing I would add is that he really can't kill the head of Wagner, right? We talk about the Wagner group. Last time I did a remote, British intelligence told us that they had talked with Wagner, Prigozhin. Prigozhin was very upset. They used a form of manipulation. What's it called? There's a name for it. It's a form of polite, subtle coercion that the British used. They got the guy whipped into a frenzy. He wound up marching on Moscow, right? This is Prigozhin. And people said, no, whimsy, it had nothing to do with British intelligence. Well, according to the remote, British intelligence was talking to them. They were using gentle persuasion, psychological tactics where they were being completely empathetic to his side of things. They got him so upset he did march. Then the Russians took the money. The FSB took the money that he was given to hand over information about Russian coordinates. So basically, we're looking at Prigozhin was working for British intelligence. So the head of MI6, British intelligence, yesterday came out publicly and said, yes, we are asking the Russian people, they're basically paying for informants. So it goes back to the remote where British intelligence had said, give us 3 weeks, whims. What they know, everybody's going to know in a short. And 3 weeks later, MI6 is now publicly saying that they want the Russians to come forward and speak on these topics, come forward as informants, etc. In terms of, excuse me, in terms of Prigozhin, what he said in the remote is that they had taken his passport. And then when we went back and looked at the film footage that came out, that's exactly what the FSB did. They took his passport. He had to go back to St. Petersburg to get his documents to travel. And he said something about going to Africa, and now it looks like they're going to send him to Africa. Well, he can't stay in Russia. Wagner groups are in Belarus right now. The stream is buffering, evidently. Oh, that sounds like, people had said that Biden was going to create ads like that. So it doesn't surprise me that Biden was did just that, because people thought that Biden was going to, after she went talking so well about Biden. Yeah, I mean, like Joel is talking about the Russian generals. Is this what we do? Did that work? Did that do something? Um, whoops. Says that it didn't work. Oh, well, I tried. Yeah. So basically, what Joel is saying is that um, MI6 is communicating with Russians and openly. Of course, they have informants, but it's kind of neat that they said 3 weeks and then 3 weeks later, MI6 came out and talked about it. Hi, Ann Dillon. Great to see you here. Oh, by the way, how do you guys like the Oracle of Whimsy's library? These are books that the Oracle has collected over centuries. I thought you guys would get a kick out of this. Yeah. So those are the remotes I've got for you today. No surprises in terms of how Putin is behaving because he told us what he was going to do 4 years ago. I think the takeaway is that humans are too emotional. And if we had looked at this thing objectively, this whole thing could have been avoided. That's how I feel about it. That the chats that are showing on Wim's Dems have, I don't understand what people are saying to me. Hello, any problems here? Stream is buffering. Okay. Anyone else having any buffering issues? Okay, so we're going to go ahead. We'll do the Empaz prayer. And after that, when we get the order, we will blitz, blitz, blitz away. Does that sound good for people? All right. Okay, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed and to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, excuse me, our family, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, we say, Amen. You know, I was thinking about that line, and to help those we may have strife with. And every time I say that line, I can feel this collective cringe. Because I think it's the hardest thing to do as humans is to, yeah, sometimes pray and to send love to those we have strife with. All right, so whenever we get the order, we will blitz, blitz, blitz away. While you guys do all of that, I'm going to have a cup of coffee. Oh, well, buffering, you know, we do have some storms. So depending if you're in the Midwest or wherever you are. And I guess they've got, Debbie, you might, do any storming where you're at, Debbie? There, where is it storming? Oh, I got the order to blitz, blitz, blitz away. Lovely. I'm just going to wait for y'all to come get me. Wait for Joel to come get me with a bunch of questions. And I can just, Debbie, I'm going to get you an iMac. Anybody else here love Macs? I love my Mac and my iPhone. I know they're expensive. I know I can't afford it. I know. I'm such a yuppie. So I want to give a special shout out and gratitude to the creative director and our talent manager, our very own Debbie Brady. Thank you, Debbie. You work so hard to make this happen. And so we appreciate you and also these beautiful designs. If you want to support the channel with some great merch, check out some of the stuff that Debbie has designed for the channel. Of course, the money goes to support the channel, like this cool alien cup and this awesome shirt that Debbie made for me. Thank you so much, Debbie. Great work. Oh, you've got a iMac, Melissa, from 212. Yeah, you know, if you can refurbish them and they can actually last a really long time. You know, I've got a couple refurbished. I'm thinking of giving I have one refurbished that's in pretty good shape. I might go ahead and give it to somebody just because I don't think oh, you absolutely love Apple LC also? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I really do. I really do. Okay, so Melissa, she wants to know, Europe is tired of sitting themselves out, fear of Russia. I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll just take some cards to look at the war first, Melissa, and um, and then we can expand from there to any other questions people have. But I just want to see how it's going. I mean, where is Putin even getting his weapons if he doesn't even have Iran support anymore? It's because of the grain, because they rely on that grain. He's starving out his supporters. That doesn't even make sense. Um, I think that our president really knows what he's doing. I think that NATO has won. I think that what Biden says is the same thing that I was seeing. It's really sad to see somebody whose ego is so big that he will let his entire country go down the drain rather than admit that he made a mistake. His own Wagner group came to kill him. That's how bad the situation is for Putin. And so I think there was another attempt on Putin's life today. So uh, the sun comes out over the war. That's why I'm optimistic. The other in relation would be Russia, Ten of Swords. They were betrayed by their own. And so we're talking about 220,000 or more dead Russians, and none of these people had to die. Their own government did this to them, put them in this situation. The hope and the fear that there are no sane heads, right? We've talked about the fact that the Hermit card is very similar to what it is to be a remote viewer, right? In the sense that he has perfect positioning, right? And he is grounded. I love the fact that she just depicts him in the winter, because it was the winter time when the ground was frozen and people could not plant in the fields that they would study and go to school and learn instead. So it's a time of cooler heads prevail, but you can see the fighting. So we have more fighting laying ahead, but man, Ten of Swords, you have his own army trying to take him out. You have his own army trying to take him out. You have Wagner trying to take him out. The other thing that makes it virtually impossible for this for Putin is the fact that the other thing that's a problem for Putin is that the money's gone. I mean, think about it. He doesn't have any support from anybody anymore. I'll tell you something else. Putin looks like an addict. He looks almost like somebody who has this deep, dark secret that they're a heroin addict and that they became a heroin addict a long, long time ago, and very few people know about it, and it's slowly eroded his brain. That I don't know what this guy's secret is, but it's he his everybody tried to placate Putin for a very, very long time, but the man has really lost his mind. The strength is with the NATO. This is the NATO cards, right? You have the strong military. This is a military card, the sun coming out. What's interesting about Putin, first off, Ten of Swords, betrayal over Russia, but also temperance, sobriety. This is not sober behavior. The hope and the fear, Six of Cups, right? The armistice, offering the peace. The final outcome is hammering out a peace deal. The intellectuals come in. Again, this is all an intellectual aspect. Hermit card is an intellectual card. Cooler heads prevail. And also Eight of Pentacles. I think they're going to create armistice. They're going to pound out a kind of armistice. Hi, Kathleen O'Malley. Did you send me a bunch of beautiful scarves the other day? Was that you? They're very beautiful. Thank you. All right, Deb Muse asks, are you able to do a collective consciousness read, meaning the population at large? Custom service the week has been brutal. Yeah, when I do the collective readings, I usually do it once a week. But we don't do collectives all week long. We do the collectives on Sunday. Melissa writes, can you explain what happened to Robert Kennedy Jr.? Gosh, I would love to know. He's doing great work with the environment. He does seem to get drawn into these anti-Semitic tropes where, like the Jewish space lasers thing, that MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene blabbering about space lasers. So it's a little disturbing that in the end, we don't have dynasties in the United States anyway. We shouldn't have a Bush dynasty or a Kennedy dynasty. That's not the American way. You should get elected. It should be Farmer John, and it should be the most capable, and you come do your 8 years and then go back to the farm. That was what America was supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a bunch of rich people desperately trying to hold on to their power. This is why a lot of people fight with me over the issue of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, because they don't understand the conversation. They think that we're talking about Johnny Depp. They think we're talking about Amber Heard, but we're not talking about Johnny Depp. We are not talking about Amber Heard. We're talking about a phenomenon where the wealthy can manipulate U.S. courts, where they can hire a film crew and a fake TV show on YouTube and pay fake language, body analysis people, and give money to jurors. And that should make us all quake in fear for our democracy, that people are going off on mega. It doesn't matter who's going on the mega yacht, whether it's Harlan Crow and Justice Thomas, or your favorite celebrity going through who wants to hurt his ex-wife. It doesn't matter. It's the concept that people can go into international waters where nobody can hear them and plot to do things that involve interrupting our court systems, our legal systems, our elections. That's the conversation. And what I said about Hollywood is, I said it was the beginning of the end, because Hollywood, if you look at Catch and Kill, if you look at the work of, what's his name? He just got married to somebody, Woody Allen's son, right? If you look at Woody Allen's son, Ronan Farrow, he wrote Catch and Kill. It was about extremely powerful men like Weinstein being able to hire Black Cube, private security firms to terrorize victims so they don't go to the police. It's about the haves and the have-nots. That's wealthy people who own their own islands. And so that's terrifying to many of us. Yeah. Yeah, and it's also what's currently happening with Hollywood right now. The only reason why people are watching Hollywood very, very closely is because it is the light shining on a phenomenon like Fran Drescher, who's brilliant, by the way. I mean, she's a brilliant woman. What she was saying as the president of the Screen Actors Guild is that we have a problem, Houston, with this discrepancy that's starting to happen between the rich and the poor. It's starting to become wider, and that should be terrifying for all of us. That's why America fought a revolution, so that we wouldn't have that. So that's the problem I also have with Robert Kennedy, right? Because Robert Kennedy is part of a dynasty, and we don't do dynasties in America. Let's just look at your resume. Have you ever been in public service before? And what was your track record? What's your stance on a woman's right to choose? Is this guy competent to do the job? Because we shouldn't care about celebrity or dynasty in the United States, right? Chat is in two places. Okay. Because I'm blind and this helps me see it. All right. So what I think happened to Robert Kennedy, he says things that are really crazy. I mean, he's been saying things that are really crazy. I mean, you could argue that he has a family that has a history of mental illness. They have a long history of mental illness in this family. Mental illness, alcoholism, drug addiction, accusations of pedophilia against some members. So um, I don't see his campaign going anywhere. Also, he's under federal investigation again. He starts off enthusiastic, but then he hangs it up. This is the feds over him. The feds are ending his campaign. He must have done something and got him in trouble with the feds, having to overhaul something. He got into a fight with his own campaign people. He's got the star over him in success. Some of what he says, in order for any propaganda to be effective, there has to be some truth to it. And then you completely discombobulate the truth. So when they say, well, there's evidence of a lab leak, yeah, but that doesn't mean that they were genetically engineering it so that the Jews would not get it, which doesn't even make any sense because there is no genetic Jews, doesn't exist. So he's gone a little off his rocker. Yes. Yeah, it's too bad. They do. There's some very disturbing things that are starting to come out about Ted Kennedy that's given me nightmares. That's all I'll say about it. But if you haven't checked out Anika, everybody seen the testimony of Anika? She gave testimony also for, I think it was Interpol, for 2 different pedophile rings. Some crazy bad people out there. The keto diet is good for some people for a short amount of time. For example, epilepsy. But we think you may benefit, but just if you don't have to necessarily be on a keto, we might instead just pull gluten because it can be neurotoxic for some people, gluten. And there's some real legitimate studies on that. The other thing is, which is not the same as having a gliadin antibody. It's not the same as an autoimmune condition like celiac disease, which is an autoimmune condition. You have allergies and then you have autoimmune conditions. So it gets to be really complicated, but there are certain foods that can act as neurotoxins, and one of them is wheat and dairy to some extent with some people. Yeah, Dem Fatal, psychopathic billionaires. That is absolutely true. And it's crazy. Um, these are really amazing times we're living in. You know, uh, the fact that our scientific community is now openly discussing extraterrestrials, right? That they're, board certified doctors, scientists, well-respected people, right, are saying this stuff is real. That in and of itself requires people to kind of like take a minute, right? Um, but also, what's going on politically is just very surreal. What's happening to the planet, the fact that this is kind of a time in our life where we have to decide for ourselves what kind of country we want to create for ourselves, what kind of world we want to create. Do we do we have the power to save ourselves? And if we do have the power to save ourselves, are we going to save ourselves? Question: will the fake electors in Michigan paid by congressmen to sign on the dotted line? Pick waving. Let's see what's going to happen with the Michigan electors. Didn't they already get convicted? Yeah, I mean, keto can be good, like I said, briefly in cases of epilepsy and during cancer treatment. There's some evidence that keto can be helpful in some stages of cancer treatment. But the results have been mixed. I should clarify that the results have been mixed. Okay, so what are we talking? What was I throwing on? I'm sorry, you guys. Oh, the Michigan, yeah. So there was quite a bit of work that was done. There was quite a lot of evidence. Each person's case was a different case. Each case that they worked on meticulously. You can see the feds. This is my feds over Michigan. A desire. Look, it's like it's a fifth column. I don't think people realize we're still in this. It's still in Michigan. It's still an active part of the Michigan government in the sense that they still have I've heard some crazy stories about crazy things going on in Michigan in terms of more people are going to come forward and are going to cooperate and get immunity as this investigation heats up because more people are going that they are not done investigating everybody that was part of this fifth column in Michigan, Homeland Security, etc. You can see the investigation, multiple people, multiple counts. The wish is interesting. Gets her wish, right? What do the feds want? Look at this. Financial resources that the feds have. This is money and resources to the feds. But what's interesting is that you have people not wanting to cooperate, Four of Cups. So the people that wind up going to prison are the ones that refuse to cooperate, Four of Cups. What's interesting is that the final outcome is Six of Cups, which is to take the offer. So that tells me that, why did I just get a message from Reed? Okay, never mind. Never mind. Yeah, so that tells me that it's not over and that they're going to start getting people coming, Six of Cups, to take the offer because you have this initial refusal. This is not the end of what's going to happen in Michigan. It's much, much larger and bigger and more horrible, in terms of just how many people were involved with this. Yeah, Tuppy Joe, you got to have carbs. Carbs are important. People have gotten into the hospital because their bodies have shut down. Yeah, gotta have. I love carbs. Love my carbs. Well, my people are from what are they? Northern Europe. They lived up. What are they? Bread and cheese, right? The British, the English, the Dutch, the Germans. What do we eat? Scandinavians. What do we eat? Bread and cheese. Every day. I was talking to this friend of mine. She's from Amsterdam and she married a guy from Japan. And she went to get him when they were visiting relatives in Amsterdam. And she said to him, "Honey, lunch is ready." And he looked up at her and he said, let me take a guess. Bread and cheese. And she was like, yeah. He's like, I can't do it anymore. He started going crazy. He's like, I cannot eat this. They had to go find him some Japanese food or something somewhere. He just couldn't do it. I think people get tired of it, but I have bread and I have toast and butter, bread and cheese 5 times a week. It's probably the close. I think if you compare how people in Northern Europe view bread, it's very similar to how people in Asia viewed rice, right? Because the poor, most of us, our ancestors were poor. They were given just grain and dairy to live on, right? So it made up the majority of the food. Yeah, me too. I'm mostly, yeah, I'm British, Irish, Welsh, a little German, Ashkenazi, Ukrainian, Hungarian, Jewish on my mom's side. But again, it's that northern cheese, bread. Like when I was in Belgium, yeah. I mean, when I was in Hungary, we did like a family tour thing. It was bread, beer, sausage, cheese, butter for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I mean, you if you get up and you're staying at a Bavarian inn, they slice a bunch of bread, a bunch of cheese, a bunch of butter, some sliced ham. Maybe they cook you up an egg. That's breakfast. It's just like 3 times a day. Yeah, our ancestors, that's why I feel like if you're Northern European, our ancestors worked really, really hard and they consumed a tremendous amount of carbohydrates. I mean, they were working in the field. The solution is not to give up to carbs. The solution is that we need to be active like our ancestors. But I would do something that you genuinely enjoy, like being a dancer or something like that. Have it be something that work in your garden. You do that, you'll live a long, happy life. Oh, you're Hungarian? Oh, my mom's side. Yeah. So so you get it. Oh yeah. And goulash. Like when we were in Budapest, it's like every day goulash, meat and potatoes, butter, cheese, bread, bratwurst. I also lived in Germany for a few years. But in Britain, you can be vegetarian. But back then, veganism wasn't that popular. I was there in the 1980s. So instead, it was cheese sandwiches. Oh, not a problem. She's a vegetarian. We'll just make cheese sandwiches. Lovely, right? Marmite and toast, bit of cheese. It's lovely. All right, let's do one more. We're doing good. I we Man, I thought we'd been here longer. You guys just want to talk about food. That's cool with me. I'll talk about you know me. I love food. Bangers and mash. Hello. All right, let's do it. Let's have the conversation that you've always wanted to have, but didn't really know if you could find anyone to have that conversation with. Okay, last meal. Let's do it. Go. You've got one day to live. What you gonna eat? Discuss. You guys wanted to talk about food. Your last meal. There are no we've talked about there can be no karmic consequences. So if you are a vegan due to ethics, in this fantasy, you're able to eat all these food, but it's like I Dream a Genie. They just manifested no animals harmed. What would be your last meal? Crab cakes. Interesting. Actually, that sounds delicious to me. Shrimp Louis. Pizza, but you can have pizza every day, KZ. Unless you're like off. See, pizza. Hello. Cheese and bread. That's a pizza, right? Cheese and bread makes Europe go around. I love grilled cheese and tomato. Hungarian cucumber salad. Love it. Do you make dip? My mom does hers with dill. Delish. Chile, Colorado. Oh, you people. My goodness. Okay, I get it. Blue crab from Chesapeake Bay. Oh my gosh. Old Spirit. Okay, how about this one? Steamed clams. Steamed clams in white wine and butter. Clams are non-sentient, so some vegans will actually eat it. You could make it vegan by doing a vegan coconut butter, right? Okay. So they don't have a brain. They're not considered sentient. So you could have clams with your type of butter, whatever, a little white wine, steamed, and then some sourdough bread. Hello? Maybe have a nice mixed green salad with it. Would be completely vegan because it's a bivalve. And it could be your last meal and it would be great. You know, maybe you have a nice glass of wine, Swedish meatballs and chocolate cake. Oh my God. And no heartburn afterwards, right? Okay, Geocosmic Valentine, her last meal. She's going to have chicken fried in butter. Oh, yes. See, no consequences. She knows how to look. Do you see? Geocosmic understood the assignment. You get an A plus, Geocosmic. This is the assignment. Here's her last meal: chicken fried in butter. Hello. Yes, you got it right. Macaroni. Very, very good. Very impressed with the macaroni. Yes. Oh, I lost her. Where'd she go? But yeah, a bacon. Yes, because there are no consequences. Baked macaroni and cheese with bacon, candied yams, fried shrimp. No, not a vegan because there are no consequences. Roast pork, white rice, black beans. Yeah, because it would be like you could just magically make it and no animal would suffer and there would be no karmic consequences. What would you have as your last meal if somebody could magically create it? Faye, ribs, crepes, cheesecake, potato salad, pierogies with sour cream. Pierogies, that's something that we do in Eastern Europe. Crepes and booze. Yummy, yum, yum. Ooh, somebody did prime rib. Oh, Debbie, yes. Chocolate cake, especially dark. Hello. Yummy, yum, yum. You guys are getting me really surf and turf. Surf and turf. When was the last time you guys had a steak? I think I can't remember. It must have been year. You know at the last I do. I remember you know when the last time I had a steak was? The night before Meghan and Harry got married, when I took Chuck on his birthday. Chuck it turned how old I won't tell you how old Chuck turned. And we went to the corral on Sunset Boulevard, and I don't know what the cross street is, Sunset or something, Sunset, and I don't know what it is, but anyway, yeah, and Meghan Markle's friends from school came in and had some food, so that was kind of cool. Hawaiian Kahlua pig. What, boy, I've never had that kind of food before, and I don't eat pig, so I wouldn't. So maybe in heaven, like when they can manifest it. Oh, you know what? My mom makes great fried potatoes. Actually, yeah, I'm a foodie, man. I feel like it's one of life's greater pleasures is really great food. Is there anything better than to just sit with friends and have a wonderful meal with friends? Isn't that lovely? I just like the time we spend together. It's just so good, right? So that's why it's nice when we share our meals. Always Blessed would have champagne. Yes. Oh, Oscar Wilde sipped champagne on his deathbed. What a great idea. Yes, go out in style. Go out in style. All right, so let's do a couple more blitzes before we call it a day. Though I think people are like, y'all are like me. You'd rather talk about food. I feel the same way. Yummy, yum, yum. I can never get, it's never too late to talk about food. Also, I want to give a shout out. Thank you, everyone who's become a member, a patron of the channel. If you have not thought about membership of the channel, it's a great way to support. We have the Fairies and Angels at $2.99. And we also have Elders and Empaths, where we teach mystery school, natural medicine tips, and also heart-centered remote viewing. It's just $9.99 to be an elder empath healer. If you would like to be a benefactor of the channel, to support the channel, it's $99 a month. And that comes with a free reading once a month, as well as all the other benefits. So we want to just thank you if you do become a member. Thank you. Consequences for MTG and Hunter's photos. I don't know anything about that because I never pay attention to this Hunter's thing. And the reason why should be obvious to everyone. He's not a member of the government. He doesn't work in the government. So why would I care? Ooh, turkey wings. I love turkey legs, but you can't get them all year round. Yeah. Okay. Nothing is better than good friends. Amen to that, Pamela. So the question that I just had, you guys are getting me so hungry. MTG is an interesting person to go into a remote about. If you're asking me to just go into her energy, I feel like she's not afraid of hard work, but she doesn't know how to learn. I mean, she's somebody that if she was asked, she can be loyal and hardworking, and I think that's why her party appreciates her. But she presents as very hardworking. If they ask her to be there at 5 a.m. for the party, she'll be there at 5 a.m. for the party. But I don't know if would say that this is necessarily the most somebody that she doesn't necessarily have. I don't think that they would encourage her even necessarily to get educated. They encourage her to work hard, but they don't necessarily promote her getting more informed on certain topics. It's interesting. I feel like she's in trouble over something. She has this in her House of Opposition, and that can be a police presence, which leads me to think that she is still under investigation for January 6th. And then you have this questionable money. I really feel that the feds are looking very closely at the Republican Party and the fact that these conservative organizations have money coming from questionable sources. So do the Democratic think tanks as well. I mean, they've found money linked to China. They found money linked to Russia. I think most of us who are true believers in democracy, we don't want foreign money coming to the Democrats or the Republicans. We want our country to be left alone and for everyone's vote to be counted. You have these concerns of almost like a theft or attempt at theft associated with Marjorie Taylor Greene, which again, it leads me to suspect that she's not totally out of the woods. Her issue, again, money swindling or questions regarding her money, attempt to flee like a thief. That's why I think something's not quite right with her. And I know that she has been questioned by the feds in the past. So the only way she could get out of this is if she's linked back to knowing something because they confiscated phones. This is the latest thing that's come out is the electronics. We've talked about the fact that when Trump took all of those documents, the next thing that has to happen has to be electronics. They need to know who he spoke to, when he spoke to them, what the nature of the conversations was, if he shared any of these documents with anyone. And it goes same with January 6th. They have to look at the electronics. Unfortunately, Marjorie Taylor Greene, we know there were certain things that she said, like 1776, that she knew something was happening. And so they certainly probably want to know what she was up to. See here, grief with the police. I have no idea what's going down, but I feel like she could be charged, man. There's this theft issue and this money issue, and this is the courts. I don't think she's out of the woods. In terms of, I'll look for Hunter, but I don't think Marjorie's out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination with those cards. It looked to me like she was still under some kind of investigation. Oh, really? She committed a crime this week? Wow. Let me check on Hunter. Check the chat, Dr. Whimsy. Which chat? She's the bomber? Who? Oh, I don't think she's the, well, maybe she is. Ooh. Oh my God, that's an interesting argument. Oh, let me see about Hunter. Oh, okay, let me see. If she's sharing it, but it's somebody else, probably she can't get in trouble. Hunter Biden is in a position of power regarding a civil lawsuit he's taking out. He will win a civil lawsuit based on this. I don't know. Is this public information yet that he's suing them? Because he's telling me now that he's suing them. He's going after them. He's extremely aggressive and he's going to win. They broke the law with him and he's coming after them. Look at this. He's in a position of power, taking their sword away. He's pissed. Evidence against, look at that mountain of evidence that he was harassed. This is a harassment suit. A judgment. Family member, judgment. Look at the evidence against them. So I would say with this kind of juxtaposition that they are going to have legal problems with Hunter going after them. And I would say if that's what Marjorie Taylor Greene did, given the way that her cards look, it's very likely that she could be in serious trouble. I don't know if she's the bomber, though. Let's take a look. The police are going to find out who the bomber is, or they already do, and there's going to be an arrest. Yeah. The reason I think so is because there's something about a cooperation or something. But what's interesting is that you have this police action. I don't know if it's Marjorie Taylor Greene. Part of me thought that it might be Jessica Watkins because she fit the physical description, etc. But I don't know. We'll probably know in the next couple of weeks. Yeah. Interesting. Oh, yeah, I would assume they do know who the bomber is because you have a police action in the coming weeks. Hunter, oh, it's probably not Hunter, but Hunter is suing them because his energy, that magician card, is I'm in the position of power. And then it was clarified by Five of Swords, take your weapons away. So I think Hunter is going into a very strong power position. And it's going to be interesting to see how that plays itself out. Yeah. Oh, you thought it might be Boebert? It's a star over Boebert, so she definitely has trouble ahead. Can you imagine that can you believe that we have members of Congress that are this crazy? All right. Thank you, everybody, for your love and support of the channel. Thank you so much for your memberships. Special shout out and gratitude to the wonderful Debbie Brady, your dreams coach, for directing and managing today. Also, gratitude to Joel Tilson for his help, Geocosmic Valentine, Melanie Harmon, all the other truly amazing people. Dem Fatal, thank you for being here. Rose Blue, John Weber, always grateful to see you here. Geocosmic, always grateful. If you're trying to get in for a reading with me, you can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com. Hello, 1111, my benefactor. Much gratitude to you. Hi, Old Spirit Art. Good to see you. If you need me just for a 5-minute Wizio reading, they're very inexpensive. I think they're only like $30. We pre-tape them. That information is being supplied by Debbie Brady as well. Well, I guess I'm out of here. I hope you enjoyed your time with the Oracle of Whimsy in her library. I am going to be speaking with Tawny tomorrow. We are doing an interview with her. It's part 2 of a multi-part series we're doing where we have an open conversation with people about what it is to be transgender, because a lot of people are confused about that. So if you have any questions for Tawny, please send them to me at whimsyanderson@gmail.com. If you can get them to me by tomorrow, 2 p.m., that would be great. I know that Tawny is very excited to speak with you all, and she very much wants to hear your questions. Last but not to be the least, if you have not had a chance to join our book club, we get together once a month at the last Tuesday of the month after Taco Tuesdays at 6 p.m. This is a great book. It's written by Ellen Archer. Stay sober and save the world, the Cave Woman Way. I know you'll want to read it, and I know you'll want to join us. That'll be next week, Taco Tuesday, with Chuck and myself at 6 p.m. All right. Love and light to you all. Thank you again. And we will see you next time. Be well and peace out. Bye-bye.